Are you a movie buff? Do you love dissecting and analyzing your favorite films? Look no further than the Projection Booth podcast. Join host Mike White and a bevy of guest experts as they explore the history, themes, and legacy of cult classics, obscure gems, and mainstream hits. Join us every week for a unique and engaging look at your favorite movies. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and tune in to the Projection Booth podcast, available on all major podcast platforms.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
I'm Chris Stachiw.
And I am Trevor Gumbel.
And we are the hosts of On Seagal, a Steven Seagal podcast where all we talk about is, who would have thought, Steven Seagal. And his varied filmography. If you've never joined us before, the way we do our podcast is we take a look at an early Seagal work and then a later Seagal work, working backwards, inwards, so that we're not just talking about Above the Law or some of his more recent works. We're going to be talking about everything back and forth, so you can get a little taste of Seagal, a teaser, a sampling, if you will, of Steven Seagal. On this,
an appetizer.
Yeah, an appetizer. Boy, that's what he should be sticking to. Hey, let's not make too many fat jokes. Those are come on. I'm a fat guy. I can't be making fun of other fat guys. What fun is that?
No,
I'm fat. You're fat. We're all fat.
Yeah, we gotta support our tribe.
On this episode, though, we are going to be taking a look at Steven Seagal's acting debut, 1988's action thriller, Above the Law.
Meet Nico, a covert agent trained to survive in Vietnam. Nico has a 6th-degree black belt in Aikido and family in the mafia. Nico's a cop with a bad attitude.
Do you know why I love you? You don't live the way other people live.
You're officially suspended this guy.
The feds come in, the doors close, nobody hears, smells, or sees anything.
One man.
You just made number 4 on the most wanted list.
One obsession.
I want to be number 1.
One rule.
You guys think you're above the law. You ain't above mine.
Nico.
So, the film is directed by Andrew Davis. It's written by Andrew Davis, Stephen Pressfield, and Ron Shusett. Ron Shusett's name, for those of you that are into sci-fi, should sound familiar. Ron Shusett was one half of the original writing team behind the sci-fi horror classic Alien. The film's stars Pam Grier, Sharon Stone, Henry Silva, and of course, everyone's favorite,
Steven Seagal.
Exactly, Steven Seagal. And the film follows him as Nico Toscani, a martial artist shanghaied into being part of the CIA, who then becomes a cop. And those three plot lines will intersect at some point, I promise. I honestly forgot that they did. However, before we start talking about the film, Trevor.
What's up?
Is this the first time you've seen this film?
No. I think I saw it a long, long time ago. I mean, I didn't remember much, so it might as well have been the first time I'd seen it. But, no, I remember I've seen some of his, films like a long time ago, but yeah, I've seen this before. But yeah, this is now, just about the first time I've seen it, since I think it's maybe the second time I've seen it. So
it's a fresh-ish watch.
Fresh-ish watch, exactly. Yes.
I'm in the same camp with you. I want to say probably 4 or 5 years ago, I kind of sat down and watched what our good friend Vern would consider to be the early works of Seagal. Essentially, up until Fire Down Below was kind of his early works. I remember I watched most of those. The issue with this movie is, and I think you'll probably agree with me, the plot of this film is very similar to Hard to Kill and Out for Justice.
Yeah, it kind of works in... It's pretty much Seagal's milieu, his wheelhouse.
Early milieu.
Early milieu, exactly.
Yeah.
He kind of works in the FBI / cop, thing where he's in over his head and...
Or he's a loose cannon.
Yeah,
we don't approve of your methods, Toscani. You're a bad cop.
It's basically it's basically in the tradition of the Dirty Harry films, where
that's what this movie is.
Basically,
I mean, but that's fine.
It's Dirty Harry, but if Dirty Harry had martial arts in it, which is funny because I think I read that they asked Clint Eastwood to do this film. I'm not sure. Or was it another film I'm thinking of? But this is very much the cop who doesn't play by the rules. Fuck the establishment. If they're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. Seagal that he's known for. And he has a special set of skills that the other cops don't.
And they don't like him because of it.
Exactly.
I like that about his early career because, like we've mentioned before, like we mentioned on the last episode, when you put Seagal in what I would consider to be this film, his quote-unquote element, the guy kills it. And I'm not talking about the baddies. I'm talking about this guy is a legitimate acting powerhouse when he's given an opportunity to kind of just play the, fuck you. I'm a fucking cop. I don't give a shit. Fuck you. I'm the upstanding citizen. I mean, that's what the name of this movie should have been, Upstanding Citizen. He's a cop, but at the same time, he's also the cop who polices the other cops. I mean, effectively, the villains in this film are CIA agents.
Oh, exactly.
So it's a little weird because when you look at later films, Fire Down Below, On Deadly Ground, instead of it being CIA and FBI, it's, those nasty anti-environmentalists. And that transition into that frame of kind of how the villains are portrayed, it works in this film with this kind of framing device of these are former and or CIA agents. When it's environmentalists, it's like, these guys are a bunch of fucking businessmen. Like, these guys don't stand a chance. Henry Silva as Kurt Zagon, you believe he could kill Seagal's character.
Oh, exactly. Well, that's Henry Silva for you. The man has always looked like he will fuck you up.
Yeah.
He is a scary-looking individual. I mean, you can't really see him as anything but, like,
a villain.
The villain. Yeah, and not even a henchman, but the main fucking villain. He's not henchman. He is the main guy who will kill you if you even look at him funny.
He has a very Anthony James-esque look to him. Like the very kind of sunken-in cheeks, the high cheekbones, but the sunken-in cheeks. He's got a very unique look to him, a very recognizable look.
Very much so. And
those kinds of actors with that kind of recognizable face, they do tend to play villains.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look at oh god, what's his name? He was in The Little Ninjas.
Leslie Nielsen?
No, that's Surf Ninjas.
Hulk Hogan.
No. No, he was a Maniac Cop.
Oh, the dude with the jaw.
Yeah.
I know. Robert. I don't remember what his name is, but I know he just recently passed away.
Did he recently? I thought it was a while ago. Hang on. Now I'm gonna have to
Everything
look it up
feels
because...
everything feels recent. Is it not Tom Atkins? Oh, Robert Zadar.
Robert Zadar. Even the name, man. That's a great fucking name. Oh god, Tom Atkins better not be dead because I fucking love Tom Atkins.
I don't think Tom Atkins is dead, but Robert Zadar is dead.
Yes, unfortunately, God rest his soul.
But he has that look.
He has the look. The very distinctive look. Like he's one of those actors where it's like, oh, I remember this guy. You know, because a lot of villains you see in action films are kind of unnoteworthy. You know,
well, he's they're either a that guy or they're a known actor. It's
like it's a face that doesn't really have any distinction to it. Henry Silva's has distinction to it.
Yeah, I mean, look at some of the other villains that we're going to be talking about here pretty quick in Seagal films. Michael Caine.
Oh God.
Chris Christopherson, William Forsythe, Basil Wallace. I mean, those actors are, you know, it's up from a range of kind of like the most well-known actors / musicians of all time to really well-known character actors and like reliable character actors. And I would put Henry Silva in that category. And again, I feel like, because I think we're gonna organically come up with some sort of rating system, or not a rating system, but kind of something to measure these films by. And I think one of the measuring sticks is the villain.
Yeah.
A hero's only as good as his villain.
Oh, very much so.
And I mean, you hear that all the time, you know, it's like, oh, the hero's only as good as his villain. And in this film, Seagal is perfectly matched against the evil. I don't understand what he is really. He's like a
drug
torture specialist for the CIA.
Yeah, I mean, I've read synopsises where they call him a drug kingpin, but you know, I didn't get that vibe from it. I mean,
he seems like a murderer for hire.
He seemed like a chemical interrogation specialist.
Yeah.
Because all we ever see him really do in the film is inject people with this chemical that they never even say what it is.
I think it's meant to be sodium pentothal.
Yeah.
But by the way, sodium pentothal doesn't work that way. I mean, sodium pentothal doesn't work the way movies claim it does. But yeah, it's all we ever see is him torturing people or shooting a gun at Seagal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of different plots in this film. It's all kind of mixed. There's like a drug plot. There's the interrogation FBI plot. There's the plot about the immigrants hiding out in the church. There's the explosives plot where C4 is being smuggled in engine blocks. You know, it's kind of all over the place. It doesn't really nail down what maybe the villain is a multitasker. Who knows?
Well, that was one of the, like, because I didn't really have a whole lot of issues with this movie.
No,
that's one of the bigger issues I had with the film was there doesn't seem to be a logical through line for the villains, because, like you said, you've got these disparate, you know, CIA informants or drug dealers or I guess street thugs, and that's fine, but I need that one singular thread that they're all tied to. And it kind of has a misstep towards the end, because you think it's like, okay, well, they're going to reveal kind of what the big plot is, what the big kind of villainous action that they're trying to take, and they're going to assassinate a senator, but you're never given any reason as to why. I mean, they kind of hint at it. He's sympathetic to the plight of the immigrants, ?
Like, is he like trying to make it easier for them to immigrate to America to become citizens, and apparently that's bad for their business, or what? But
and why is the bar guy like everywhere all the time? That guy was just asking for it.
Yeah, it's like it's a leap of imagination for him to be connected to the main villain of all the things.
Yeah, there's like a bartender is at the end final climax of the film.
Yeah, he's at the beginning of the film and the end of the film. I don't know what the fuck he's doing in either scenes. Well, the first scene, I mean, you think he's the typical bartender that tells the cop, hey, get the fuck out of my bar. I told you everything. I don't know anything. Get him, you know, all that kind of thing. By the way, we get an appearance from Michael
Rooker. Thank you. I am so glad you caught that. Oh.
It's like, oh my god, Michael Rooker's in this? Oh my god, is he going to kick Seagal's ass? No, he just sits there.
I don't even know if he's credited. I think he's uncredited.
I think He had to have been. I thought he was credited.
John C. Reilly is in the bar as well.
Is he? I didn't see him.
That's what IMDb says. I take IMDb with a grain of salt, but you and I both know for a fact we definitely saw and for sure heard Michael Rooker.
Oh, that was Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
That's
that voice.
Henry,
that's unmistakable.
That's Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer era Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
Right there.
His one line is great. He's like, what are you going to do, kick our asses? Like, yo, Michael Rooker, what's up?
Yeah, what are you doing in here, man? Are you gonna fight Seagal? That'd be awesome. Where are you?
Yeah.
Where'd you go, man?
I wish he had fought
Come back,
Seagal.
Michael Rooker. Yeah, I mean, that bar fight, man. The whole dialogue in that fight though was like, get him, kill him, kick his ass, fuck him up, and you could tell what scenes in this film Seagal wrote and what scenes Andrew Davis wrote.
Well, that was, that's kind of the thing that we've talked about already a little bit, and it's rearing its ugly head a tad already, is Seagal kind of being too involved in the creative process.
The control. And I'm surprised, considering this is his first major film.
Yeah, mind you, he had done stunt work and been stunt directors on 3 or 4 films, including Never Say Never Again, where, he broke Connery's wrist.
Well, in this film, he didn't break. Henry
Silva broke his face.
Oh,
and he had to be rushed to the hospital.
Yeah, but he came back the next day because he iced it all night, apparently, so he wouldn't get a black eye. I'll give Seagal that. He's a hard worker. But yeah, I mean, for his first major film role, for having that much control, that's surprising. And but I mean, do you know what I'm talking about? Could you tell which lines are the Andrew Davis's and which ones were his?
I could more tell the ones that were ADR'd. Because there was a lot of them. I mean, again, it's an action scene, so of course there's ADR.
I mean, especially when the fighting starts, like I was saying, all that shit of the telling him, kick his ass, I'll get him. Kind of that, you could tell all that shit was ADR'd. But that's Seagal's specialty, which we'll get into later. The bar fight was actually very good. Seagal has skills. I mean, it shows that he's an action star.
I agree. He has the charisma and he has the skill, and they're both on screen in this film. I mean, look, when he's given the opportunity to actually be in his wheelhouse, the guy
he nails it.
He can act. He can pull off the stunts. He can be menacing. I mean, there's a scene in this film where he's fighting he gets ambushed by some toughs in a alley. And he has no weapons, and they have guns and machetes pointed at him. And you're thinking to yourself, how's he going to get out of this? Is he going to pull a gun? Is he going to pull a knife? No, he just grabs the guy with the machete's knife and chops the guy with the gun, chops the hand with the gun right off.
I thought that was awesome.
It is. That is exactly what I want from Seagal. I want him to show that he is kind of this contained ball of rage that he can kind of lash out and then right back to center. He can get you and then back to center. And that's what always drew me to him, and what continues to draw me to him, and what perplexes me about him with his later roles is nobody seems to think that that's what made him great. And that's what makes him great, is that he has that little bop, and then it's that, and then it's bop, and then it's that. That's what I love about these early Seagal movies, is if you know what he can and can't do, play to his strengths, give him that little bit of action, and then ease it off, and then back and ease it off. And that works way better than, trying to make him into this big action star.
Well, when you mentioned ba-ba, that actually makes sense, because you notice in his martial arts fighting style, there's a fluidity to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not kind of all over the place. It's very kind of flowing, and it's actually almost kind of beautiful how quick and how easy to follow his martial arts style is. Like, it almost seems like he's taking them all out in one fail swoop, and I think he's just a master at that kind of martial arts. And I think that's part of why he was such a big star in the early 90s, is because sometimes you just want to see a guy get his ass kicked in the most fluid way possible.
Well, and it was different, right? I mean, we had never seen Aikido on screen. I mean, Above the Law is the first time ever we're seeing an Aikido master on screen doing his form of martial arts, which, again, like you said, I mean, it's so different than what we're used to that it really does stand out, and it gives the audience something different to watch versus kind of your stock and trade Van Damme or,
Chuck Norris.
or Chuck Norris or Arnie or Stallone, where like Arnie and Stallone are never really asked to do physical feats.
No, just give them a gun and let them do their thing.
Exactly, and give them a pithy one-liner. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not bemoaning that, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you do want to see these classically trained martial artists do their thing. You know, and you know, they give Seagal the room to do that, but they also say, here's a gun. Use a gun. I mean, obviously when we get to these, later 90s Seagal films, he kind of, the way of the Buddhist, and I don't want to kill people, I just want to hurt them, which is perfectly fine. But right here, right now, you've got Seagal chopping dudes' arms off, killing dudes, shooting them, murdering them, breaking a dude's neck, just stand, in a full stand, just cranks his neck under his arm. I mean, you're getting to see the brutality that I think initially drew me to Seagal as an action star.
Yeah, I mean, because his films are fucking brutal.
Some of the early ones are for sure.
Yeah, especially when we get for Marked for Death.
Oh my God.
To that one.
The fight scene at the end of that film is, I mean, it's brutal. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but there's maiming and dismemberment and physical harm to the villain that is deserved, but at the same time completely unnecessary.
Deserved, but completely necessary. Conserved, but completely unnecessary. I like that.
Yeah, the only issue I had with the villain in this film is the fact that he doesn't really get a very long fight scene with Seagal.
He's not really even in the film that much.
Nah, I think he's in this film 4 times.
Yeah, and like very briefly. And the fight scene, with Seagal was like done, like less than a couple minutes.
Yeah, Seagal breaks his arm and then breaks his neck. The end.
Which, by the way, that was a great fucking break, though. The arm break, you felt that, didn't you?
I did, but it also looked very fake. It looked very fake, similar to the dummy on the back of the car when he backs out of the parking garage. Oh, man. You want to talk about really poorly done dummies? That is very clearly a dummy hanging onto the back of the car.
Right until you see the stuntman fall... Yeah, the dummy at the back of the car was...
Yeah, it moves in an unnatural way, as in it's not alive, as in it's literally dead.
And when he breaks Henry Silva's neck, you don't really see anything. You see kind of the body fall, but you don't really... I wouldn't have been surprised if he took his fucking head off.
Yeah, I mean, he essentially sticks his arm around his neck and cranks up on it. And look, I mean, it...
Kind of anticlimactic for a death.
Yeah, it is very anticlimactic, and I was gonna say, like, I wasn't really a huge fan of that, because if we're watching this movie for the raw action and the badass character of Nico Toscani beating the shit out of people and punching, kicking, breaking arms, cutting off hands, which we've already seen up into the climax of the film.
Yeah, you want to see the bad guy gets what's coming to him. And
in a big way. I don't want to just see he breaks his neck at the end. Because you believe that this guy can kill Seagal's character. And then he gets free, and that's clearly not the case.
Yeah. The guy just had a plethora of henchmen that just I don't think had any names, did they? If they did, I didn't catch them.
I didn't. Well, there was, there's like kind of the other main villain, Salvano, but he's already dead by that point.
Is that the one he was choking in the car?
Yeah, that's the one who flies out of the parking garage.
Yeah, which I thought was funny as hell, by the way.
I mean, that's my favorite death in the film.
Mine too, actually, to be honest with you.
Because it's over the top. I mean, it
is.
If we're watching an action film, which we are, I want to see over the top action, bombastic death scenes for the baddies, and I don't need one-liners per se. I mean, that's not for me, that's not where these films kind of live and die, is whether or not they can do a pithy one-liner, because...
Thankfully, there wasn't that many.
Well, there weren't that many, and there weren't that many opportunities.
No. This film actually kind of plays it very straight.
Oh yeah.
It's basically Seagal trying to be taken seriously and not trying. I think he was trying to not be the Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, Stallone kind of action hero. He wants to be the one that's taken seriously. They want you to watch the action film and actually kind of feel every neck break or every bone or every gunshot, and they don't want it to be like
best way to describe
leavened.
it is they want you to count how many bullets are in the gun and give a shit about how many bullets they have left. Because you notice that in action movies, right? I mean, they don't care about how many bullets are in a gun until it matters. And I appreciate when an action film is like, this is how many bullets are in the gun, and this is how they have to actually approach that in a realistic way. I don't need it to be dark and gritty. I just want them to give a shit sometimes about upholding some semblance of reality.
Well, I mean, when you start getting mocked in Hot Shots Part 2 for unlimited bullet supply, you kind of have to start paying attention to what you're doing when it comes to ammunition. Because there's that scene in Hot Shots where he's like firing nonstop at the bad guys, and at the end you see him walking out of this like big hill of casings. But yeah, I mean, even Dirty Harry did that actually.
Yeah, I mean, action movies are guilty of it. It's just,
especially when you're dealing with like high caliber guns and but not so much like revolvers. Even like 9mm, they tend to have unlimited supplies. You don't see them drop the clip and put in a new one.
Again, unless it's to give the hero an opportunity to do something against the villain.
Exactly.
Oh, they're reloading. No, I'm going to pop out and shoot him. It's like, nah, I mean, like, come on.
Well, they did that pretty well in Grosse Pointe Blank.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's Grosse Pointe Blank. I mean, again, we come back to this idea that these are, like you already mentioned, these early Seagal films, especially this one, he wants to be taken seriously. And the subject matter of the film and the way the film presents itself attempts to do the best that it can to make that idea reality.
But it's almost like he couldn't pick what subject matter would be more serious for the hero to tackle. So he just threw in
everything.
Okay. Yeah, they just threw in illegal interrogation tactics, immigration, drug
government
use.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, street crime, prostitution even.
Yeah, that's right. At the beginning of the movie, I honestly forgot about that.
About his niece?
Yeah, that I think is for me the biggest failing of the film is the villainous plot, because I could not for the life of me tell you what it was. It was like a very convoluted mix of the things we've already mentioned. CIA, drugs, immigration, it's like, just pick one, stick to that one thing, and
it's like,
do it the best.
Yeah, it's like, great, you stopped the villain, but what did you stop him from doing?
Killing the only senator.
That's the only clear thing we understand that he stopped him from doing was killing the senator. We didn't really get anything of like okay, but what was he going to kill the senator for?
Or what was the senator doing?
Another thing, now that we mentioned the niece, another thing that I noticed is that we don't hear anything about his niece ever again.
Well, there's a lot of seeming threads that aren't really picked back up. I mean, you have Sharon Stone in this film. She doesn't really do anything. You have Pam Grier in this film. I think she's underused. I know she's gone on record in saying that she likes this movie and her performance because it gives her some room to really stretch her acting chops.
Well, she wasn't playing the usual Foxy Brown, Cleopatra Jones type of blaxploitation hero. She was actually playing a smart cop who knows what she's doing, and
pretty much the character she played before, but as a cop.
Yeah, I mean,
the character she's playing is kind of, Foxy Brown, Coffee-esque.
Yeah, but her character was a lot of telling him, okay, be careful doing this, or don't do that, be careful doing this, you don't want to get us in trouble. That was a lot of the dialogue. It was a lot of him driving her around and him doing things without necessarily her approval. And
then there's a death fake out.
Yeah, but you knew she was wearing a bulletproof vest because I didn't see any blood on the shirt.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, this is totally faking us out. It's bullshit. But she was a likable. I like Pam Grier. She's always fun to watch on camera. She's such a good actress, and I think it was good that she was utilized for more than what she was known for, which was the femme fatale cop kind of blaxploitation of the 70s. I think she was playing a more serious, which I think was at work for her because I think she wanted to be taken seriously.
She's less typecast.
Oh, very much so. Very much so.
I mean, unfortunately, she has very much been typecast because of how prominent and successful and famous those roles that she was in were.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even Tarantino can be a little bit guilty of this with Jackie Brown.
Yeah, Tarantino's guilty of a lot of things. Don't get me started.
Okay, I won't get. This is a podcast about Seagal, not Tarantino.
Yeah, boy, isn't it?
Unless Tarantino does a film with Seagal, then we will not talk about Tarantino much in this podcast.
But I think this was, speaking of the other female actress in the film of kind of note, I believe this is like the second film that Sharon Stone had ever done. It's very early on.
She was in Police Academy 4 or 5, I think, before this.
It's 4.
Okay. Well, she was like trying to play the love interest to Mahoney.
I haven't seen past the first one.
I've seen every single one of them, even Mission to Moscow. Don't judge me.
I'm not going to judge you. I too have more time on my hands than I know what to do with.
Well, this was very early Sharon Stone.
Well, it's early because she's not billed as an actress of note.
Well, she gets third billing?
Yeah, which is insane considering how she does almost nothing in the entire movie. Yeah, I'm not saying she does nothing. I'm saying she's given nothing to do.
Well, she's playing the stereotypical cop's wife who worries about him because they have a family at home and,
And they're targeting my family.
She had done King Solomon's Mines, Alan Quartermain and the Lost City of Gold, Police Academy 4, Action Jackson. So, not necessarily a debut, but it definitely is not worthy of her talent because she is so much better than this. I mean, she does more than just the concerned wife role.
Yeah. And again, I mean, it just goes to show how early on this film is in her career that she's just kind of, Sharon Stone's in this movie. It's like, no, Sharon Stone's in this movie. Like, Casino Sharon Stone.
Well, luckily, 2 years later, she would have Total Recall and, then it would start
Honey, we're married.
Consider a divorce.
I know. She's great in that movie. Unfortunately, and again, it just goes to show when given the opportunity, they're great. But when they're essentially given the, okay, now cry. Okay, now be worried about your child. Okay, now be worried about your husband. It's like, oh boy, what a waste.
What did you think of Seagal's performance in the film?
I liked him. I think he's really good. He plays, like you said, he doesn't have to be ridiculous. He just needs to come across as, there is a little bit of that like holier than thou kind of, I'm better than you, but like that's intentional because he's trying to, he says it in the film. He's like, no one's above my law. And like, that's a pretty like holier than thou thing to say, but you completely believe it.
Well, I think he's a lot more, he's got a lot more charisma in this one than in his later films. He's a lot more likable and a lot more, rootable, I guess is the word. He definitely knows what he's doing, but they don't ask much of him when it comes to his performance. Like they don't ask him to emote too much. Basically, like when he thinks his partner's dead, he doesn't he doesn't like cry or act or emote much. He's like, oh no. But then like 2 minutes later, oh, she survived. She's going to be okay. And then you get that Seagal smile, which you barely ever see, which is interesting to see actually, because you don't really see Seagal emote much when it comes to joy. You only see him very, very serious.
Yeah, and like you said, that's a welcome respite from what we're used to.
Exactly. Like when he's not trying to be serious, and when he's not trying to play the cop, it's actually very interesting to watch. Like when he's just talking with his family and like being a regular guy, not a super cop, it's kind of interesting to see him play it. Like when he's playing just a regular father getting his child baptized at the beginning.
I mean, they really turn into that Seagal's just a normal guy, but again, there's like these two disparate forces at play because he's not. They made a point to say at the beginning, he's an Aikido master who was recruited by the CIA covertly,
Let's talk about that intro. Let's talk about that first minute or so where every shot of the film was basically Seagal through his life. It's almost like Seagal was trying to,
introduce himself to the audience?
Yeah, and basically in a not very subtle brag way.
You know what it reminded me of a lot?
What's that?
A movie I just recently watched and I absolutely detest. It reminded me of the opening of Space Jam. It's almost the same thing. It's almost the same thing.
Oh my, it is kind of Space Jam, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you have him doing the thing that he's known for at the beginning, and then you have a bunch of photos of him as a child that play over the credits.
Real photos, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Those are real photos of his actual real childhood, and he also narrates a fictionalized version of his childhood as well.
When he narrates, it's almost like they haven't told him this isn't a movie about you, Seagal. It's a movie about you're playing a character. You're not playing yourself. You don't have to talk about yourself. And he didn't get the memo until way later. But it goes from that, self-serving beginning where I swear to God, now that you mentioned Space Jam, now I can't unsee it.
Well, it's because it's the truth. I mean, it's the truth. That is what it is. It is Space Jam.
We didn't hear I Believe I Can Fly, and we're expecting that, weren't you?
Thank God we didn't hear that. For so many reasons.
Oh, God. Let's not get into that. But then it goes straight from that to his Vietnam. I think, was it Vietnam? Yeah, it was Vietnam.
It is Vietnam because it's supposed to be taking place in '69.
Yeah, and he's got his partner with him.
Good old Chelsea Ross, who, again, is in the film 3 times, but is, again, ostensibly meant to be a larger part of the film.
Well, and here's the thing with Chelsea Ross's character. Was he supposed to be a good guy?
I couldn't tell you.
Guy?
Don't even ask me. I was as confused as you are.
Because in one scene, he's just playing the back, and the next scene you see him, he's like, "You better hide your family." I wouldn't be, not to call me my real name on an open line. You need to get out. You need to hide.
And then in the next scene, he's like
holding a gun to him.
Yeah, exactly. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you because, again, it feels like 2 or 3 disparate plots that they couldn't sort out. And they tried.
God bless them.
They tried. I mean, look, I know that Ron Shusett is a talented screenwriter. I know that Andrew Davis is a good screen director, but
he's a fantastic director.
Yeah, I mean, The Fugitive, holy shit. I mean,
I just watched that a couple months ago, and it still holds up.
It's one of the finest action films ever made.
Exactly. The tension, the action, the performances, it was just perfect.
Yeah, and then say what you will about Chain Reaction. I unabashedly love that movie.
I need to see it. I still haven't seen it.
It's Keanu and Morgan Freeman doing Keanu and Morgan Freeman things. But all you have to say is The Fugitive. And, you've got a ticket for life because that movie is... it's probably, outside of Indiana Jones and Star Wars, as far as I'm concerned, it's the quintessential Harrison Ford role.
It's probably one of his best performances.
Yeah, he's amazing. That movie's amazing.
Tommy Lee Jones won an Oscar for it, and I thought well-deservedly so.
Yeah, I agree.
Too bad they had to make the U.S. Marshals and fuck the whole thing up.
And then they made The Hunted, which pretty much put some nails in the coffin and slammed it shut.
Yeah, so. They were trying to pigeonhole they were trying to pigeonhole Tommy Lee Jones into the bounty hunter character, and it just didn't work. Anyway.
You don't have to pigeonhole anyone. He pretty much has always played the same character in every movie he's in. Except for Batman Forever, which is a completely different story.
Yeah. We'll get to that probably later. We need to talk about Above the Law. We get off on a tangent. Can we talk about the scene where... one of the funniest scenes in the movie where they break into that convenience store?
And there's a random white guy pretending to be Indian saying vaguely racist / tone deaf.
Oh my God.
It's it's very cringy. It's very late 80s, early 90s portrayal of someone from India portrayed by someone who's very clearly a white person in a turban.
Very much in the Fisher Stevens school of Indian acting. And the fact that the guy doesn't react hardly to it all. Like, if I just saw a guy point a gun at 4 other guys into my store and then start a fight destroying everything, my reaction wouldn't just be calmly, get out of my store, please, get out. No, you can't do this. Oh my God, what are you doing? You know, I'd be a little more concerned.
After he had shot someone in the street, too. Because don't forget,
exactly.
He kills someone in the street right before they go into the convenience store.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, the bigger
You can't
dude.
kill us all.
Motherfucker.
Oh, I can get a head start. Like, A for effort. A for effort is what he says.
A for effort.
And that looked like, that's funny. Like, I laughed at that because, again, if you are a stoic actor, you can pull that off if you believe what you're saying, and we believe that you're that badass that you're just like get an A for effort. Like you're that fucking badass. We believe you 100%. I believed it.
And it's all the tonality of his voice, you know, because he always has that very, very serious.
Yeah, he's a serious dude. Like Seagal is for all intents and purposes, he was trying to be. You can't convince me otherwise. He was trying to be the second coming of Clint Eastwood.
Oh, exactly. That's you.
There's nothing else.
With you. No, because he is very much acting like Clint Eastwood, but with martial arts training. And you know, there's only one Clint Eastwood, dude. I mean,
yeah,
you gotta do your own thing, find your own thing, because
and he did. I would say that he did through the martial arts. The issue is they should have maybe even leaned heavier into it.
Yeah, you don't really see him raise his voice too much.
Well, and like you said, the emotions don't come with Seagal.
No, they don't.
And the emotions didn't come with, Clint Eastwood either. Don't forget the original Dirty Harry, you know, make my day, punk. Like, that line, the way that line is delivered, it's so badass because you know that he is as badass as the line he's saying. And he backs it up.
And he paid his dues in the Dollars series.
Oh, he paid his dues and all kinds of stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I would never consider Clint Eastwood an action star. I guess maybe I would consider him more of like I don't know. It's that weird thing, right? Because like, what makes an action star? I guess I classically think that action stars were kind of born and bred in the 80s. But like, that's unfair to everyone in the 70s, like Lee Marvin or Clint Eastwood or all these actors who cut their teeth on war movies and westerns. Because again, the traditional action film as we know it didn't really exist in the 70s.
No.
You know, not in the way the films in the 80s did, if you get what I mean.
Well, action has pretty much evolved since the 70s and 80s. It's been a mutation. Like, action of today doesn't feel like the action of the 80s.
No, and the action of the 70s was the kinds of films that Seagal is making in the early 90s, which are these cop urban dramas.
Exactly. And, well, I think it goes to the fact that why films like The Expendables were so successful is because people kind of wanted the feel of an 80s action film again with the 80s action stars.
Because because like you've already said, it evolved from the 80s into the 90s, where the 90s almost went into self-parody mode. They were like, you know what, like, oh fuck, we're cynical now. It's the 90s. Isn't all of this stuff that happened in the 80s super dumb and weird? And it's like, it is, but like that's
what we liked.
That's what made it fun. Is that it was big, but big dumb action movies. If they believe their own bullshit, they work. Mm-hmm. If they're lambasting their own bullshit, they can work. But a movie like Total Recall, a movie like The Running Man, a movie like Commando, those movies take themselves seriously. Yes, they have comedic aspects to it, but at the end of the day, John Matrix's daughter is in trouble and he's gonna save her, and you know that he is a doting father and he's gonna kill Bennett and he's gonna make him pay for what he did. That's all very serious.
You know what movie I thought perfectly blended the seriousness of the action with a little bit of self-referential without being cynical? Was Demolition Man.
I mean, it's like at the tail end, right?
That was like 1993.
Yeah, it's like past the point, but still gets it.
Yeah. Demolition Man I thought was brilliant in satirizing, but also paying homage and being its own action film. You know, being an actual serious action film that fans could enjoy without feeling like they're being made fun of.
Well, and I think also as much as I love Die Hard, I think Die Hard also helped kind of kill the action movie of the 80s because you did have this actor who was not known as an action star. I mean, at the time that Bruce Willis was cast in Die Hard, he was on Moonlighting. I mean, he's known as this comedic kind of romantic rom-com actor, and then they cast him in Die Hard, and now that's all he's known for. And the crazy thing is, tell an 18-year-old right now who is, I guarantee you, more than likely seen Die Hard, they'll be like, wait, he was a rom-com TV show guy? And it's like, yeah. And now that's all he does are action movies.
He did try going back to more dramatic roles, more rom-com kind of stuff.
And nobody wants to see it.
No, limited success.
Yeah.
Do you remember the movie The Story of Us with Michelle Pfeiffer?
Nope.
Exactly.
Do you remember The Kid?
I do, but that was a semi-enjoyable children's
Not for
film.
the reasons that anyone should. But that was kind of the thing about Die Hard that I think started putting a nail in the coffin of these 80s action films. Mm-hmm. That I think directly led to something like Seagal, which is he's the quote-unquote everyman. But Seagal's
not
the everyman
anymore.
Right.
No, Seagal's definitely not the every. I mean, Seagal definitely isn't like muscular like Schwarzenegger and Van Damme and Stallone, but he's definitely not an everyman. This is he does not act like your typical everyday working class schlub.
No, but Bruce Willis in Die Hard does.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like they were trying to tread that line in this movie a little bit.
Exactly. That's exactly what they were trying to do, because when Die Hard hit, all the studios were like, wow, we don't need to cast like bodybuilders anymore. We can cast regular everyday guys we see on Moonlighting or 30-something, and they can be our next action star. And it doesn't work like that. The person, there has to be a personality to them. You can't just have looks and, fit to just call it, okay, you're now the new John McClane.
They build the best way to explain how action movies can be successful is you build the movie around the star. You don't build the star around the movie. You can't force a star into a box. You have to build the box around them. And that's what they always understood with Arnold and Stallone and Van Damme to an extent. Is those movies, they live and die by how well you play to that actor and what that actor can and can't do. And we're seeing, and to tie it right back to Above the Law, that's what makes this film such a great example of Steven Seagal at his absolute most successful. Is this movie knew what he could do, knew exactly what he couldn't do, and they stayed away from the things he couldn't do and just bombarded you with the things he can absolutely get away with and you believe that he can do.
Exactly. This was more of, like I said, Seagal's wheelhouse, and I can see how, they built it basically around, because with any other star, this could have been just your generic run-of-the-mill loner cop gets the bad guy film. But with Seagal, there's an added sense of, or an added little piece of intensity, and
it's the martial arts.
And the martial arts, exactly. So I think it works well with Stallone. Then it wouldn't work with, I don't think, anybody else. It could have been just Dirty Harry Part 6 if they hadn't had Seagal in it, because it's when you call it Dirty Harry with martial arts, that's basically what you're getting. I mean, and that's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
it works.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, there's a reason these first 4 movies, outside of Marked for Death, really, because again, what it introduces into the formula is a little bit different. There's a reason why Above the Law, Hard to Kill, and Out for Justice all feel so similar and samey, is because they're 3 movies about a cop / FBI agent / CIA agent / man of the law who is disgraced or left for dead or gets revenge. There's a reason they all feel samey, but there's also a reason why people look back so fondly on them, because Seagal knew what he could do, and the people who were making the movies knew what he couldn't do, and they made sure to keep him going in the direction of the things he could do and not worrying about what he couldn't do. They would let the other actors fill in for him on that.
Yeah, and I think you could tell when the leash started to get a little looser on Seagal when it came to creative choices. Like you said, with Fire Down Below, or
On Deadly Ground.
On Deadly Ground, that's the one. You could tell when the leash was getting looser and the dog was starting to
the dog is pulling you.
The dog was pulling the owner. When they kept him on a short leash, that's what worked better. So, but when they started giving him more leeway, that's when you get On Deadly Ground. That's when you get Fire Down Below. That's when you get The Glimmer Man.
And don't let the actor get in the way of the movie.
Absolutely not. Unless the actor is directing the movie, On Deadly Ground. Don't let him do it. Just, you are the director. Fucking direct him.
And look at what happens when you have a talented, competent action director directing your actor who is a known problem when it comes to overstepping what I would consider to be the boundaries of an actor in a film.
And I think,
you have a film like Above the Law, where Andrew Davis competently and goes above competent directs a film that, again, I liked this movie a lot. And, I've taken flack from people, and I'm sure you have. Why are you doing a Seagal podcast? He's terrible. He's not terrible. He has his faults. I mean, he has his faults. Yeah, right from the get-go, we're seeing him with a director who knows what he's doing and has directed, like we've already talked about, The Fugitive, an action film that I think is in the pantheon of like the true classics of the genre. You see what happens when someone who knows what they're doing with Seagal can actually do it.
Well, that just goes to the talent of Andrew Davis. There's a reason 2 of Seagal's absolute most competent, best action films were his. Under Siege, Above the Law. When Andrew Davis is at the helm, it's quality because he knows what he's doing as a director. I mean, he even made Code of Silence, which is why Seagal wanted to work with him, because he liked Chuck Norris's work in Code of Silence, and he wanted to work with Andrew Davis. So when Andrew Davis is doing a film, you're guaranteed at least some competency of the way the scenes are shot, the way the things are paced, and all that. So,
and I believe that he can keep Seagal in line.
Absolutely.
Because that's the thing, and that's kind of what I think we're going to start seeing the longer we do this podcast, because we have no intention of not finishing this podcast, is we're going to see this lack of, I anticipate, I don't know if you do, I anticipate we're going to start seeing a director kind of taking a back seat to Seagal and relinquishing decision making to him. And
I guarantee you we're going to see that.
And that's in my mind, that's a problem. And if you're a film watcher, you should think it's a problem too, because again, if the actor is the one making the decisions and they're not the director of the film, that is not a great way to A, foster relationships on set, and B, create a film that feels narratively focused. And I'm not going to blame Seagal for the narrative focus in this film, because I don't think he's to blame for the narrative focus being jumbled in this film. I think there were too many people in the writer's room throwing out too many good ideas, and it almost feels like there's 3 fucking movies here.
It is. It does feel like three movies.
Just throw some Jamaican gang members in, and we'll have even
Marked
more
for Death.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too much. It's too many cooks spoiling the broth. So, if they just stuck to one, we keep coming back to this. It's like so many damn different subplots, and they can't focus on one. So we don't know what the hell's going on. And we still don't at the end of the film. It's like, okay, he stopped an assassination. What else? What now? What's going to happen with the refugee kids? What's going to happen with his drug addicted niece? Which, by the way, the scene where he basically smashes her boyfriend's face into that mirror of cocaine was fucking great, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
he fucking tried to pay him off.
Yeah,
he's
of course.
There's money under the bed. He's like, you're trying to bribe me? Grabs his face and just boom, smashes it on the fucking mirror. And I thought that is what Seagal is to me. You know, the guy who cannot be bought, who cannot be bribed, who cannot be manipulated.
I agree. I mean, again, that's the Clint Eastwood aspect of it.
Yeah, and I wanted to see what happened to his niece because he's so close to his family. You'd figure the plot would stick to what was with his family. But, you know, I mean, they were like, "Oh my God, we're at 99 minutes. You know, we gotta cut this thing short. The script's at like 100 and something pages now."
Yeah, right.
You know, we gotta have something to cut out.
Well, and reading some of the reviews at the time of the film, I mean, not that I give his kind of feelings or ideas on movies a whole lot of credence, because this is the same person who went and wrote books about how much they hated movies and movies that they hated, which to me is just spiteful shit to be spiteful. Ebert said, yeah, exactly. You knew exactly who I was talking about too.
Yeah.
But again, don't get me started on Ebert. So many problems with that line of thinking, that popularizing of tearing shit down for the sake of tearing it down because I want to be a snarky turd. He even said that there's 50% more plot in this film than it needs. And I agree. I just think there's way too much going on.
Yeah, I watched the Siskel and Ebert review of the film last night after I'd watched it. Yeah, and they pretty much agree. It's a competently made action film. It just has a little too much plot.
Yeah, which, again, a lot of the times it's not even a problem. Sometimes that's more of what we want. We want more explanation. In this film, it's not that I don't want more explanation. I want certain things explained and other things never brought up to begin with. Just leave the immigration stuff alone. Like, it's not important. It's barely addressed, and it's not important.
There's one thing I thought was really well done in this scene is that every plot point connected to the other and forwarded the plot along. Like the starting line of the plot was his niece getting into drugs again, which led into this, which led into that, which led to that, and it all came together. And I thought that's actually well done. It doesn't feel disconnected too much when it comes to, the connecting the dots.
Sure, but then it just kind of gets itself jumbled. As the longer it goes on, the more jumbled it gets.
Mm-hmm. If he hadn't gotten into that damn bar.
I know, right? And met Michael Rooker and other people just sitting there.
He should have just teamed up with Michael Rooker, and that movie would just... that would have been just a great movie, I thought.
I mean, look, it's funny to see another actor who would go on to be in Marvel films and create a legacy for himself as a character actor, getting a one-liner at Seagal's, face.
They did Rooker dirty in this one. They really did him dirty.
Well, he's just, he's clearly just an extra, right? Working under, SAG minimum.
He did a line. So. He had a line, so they must have paid him a little more than the extras.
All right, so we didn't want to do a traditional rating, 5-star, thumbs up, thumbs down bullshit. I am a firm believer, and I believe you are as well, Trevor, that there can be movies that aren't great that are totally 100% worth watching. So on the Seagal podcast, we've decided, in keeping with the theme of Steven Seagal, we would do a little rating system of ponytail or no ponytail, keeping in line with our good friend Mr. Seagal, who sometimes he has a ponytail, sometimes he doesn't. Ponytail
sometimes he has
means
actual voice.
Yeah, that too. Ponytail means you should totally check it out. No ponytail means you could probably skip it. So, for Above the Law, Trevor, ponytail or no ponytail?
I'm giving it a ponytail. It's definitely not his best film, but it's still a competently made, fun action flick. I think even the most casual Seagal film fan will enjoy. So I definitely think it's a ponytail.
I'm with you. I give it a ponytail all the way. I think, again, this is, if we put ourselves in the mindset of the audience in 88, this is the first time we're seeing this guy on screen. This is the first time we're watching him kick ass, kill people, break arms, break necks, do the kind of, very tone low, talking slow. I'm not going to get fucked with. I'm going to fuck you. Yeah. That whole thing, I'm all on board. If I'm in an audience member in 88, I went into this movie, I watched the preview for this movie. This is something I want to watch. I'm going to leave the theater satisfied, maybe a little disappointed at the plot, But I'm on board with this guy, and I want to see what he does next. So yeah, ponytail all the way, 100%.
All right. So we both agree. Ponytail.
Yeah, we're both agree, which is good. I don't know how many times we're going to disagree on this podcast. I'll be curious. By the time we're done, we'll see how many times we disagree. I think we'll agree more times than not, but there's going to be some interesting films coming up.
I definitely think if we do disagree, they might be for different reasons than the other one is expecting.
I would agree. So on that note, Trevor, what are we talking about on the next episode of On Seagal?
We are doing 2019's Beyond the Law.
Which is no longer above recent. Yeah, he's beyond it.
Yep, he's no longer above it. He's beyond it. So who knows? No rules anymore, man.
And you haven't seen it, and I haven't seen it. So I'm excited because this is kind of uncharted territory. Like we mentioned at the top of the podcast, we didn't want to just do his career chronologically from the start because, again, there is this preconceived notion that all of the, quote, good Seagal movies are at the beginning of his career. I think you and I, by the time we're done, are going to have a different opinion, hopefully an opinion that we can obviously are sharing with people. Vernon, his book, does a very good job of talking about that as well. Vern actually called me out in an email asking me specifically why we were doing this podcast, because it would seem like I wasn't too enthused or happy on our other podcast that I do talking about Seagal's movies. But I can tell you, I am super excited to watch a recent Seagal movie.
Oh, me too, actually.
I want to see what these recent Seagal films are all about.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Seagal film after Under Siege 2. Well, I guess no. I haven't seen a Seagal film past Fire Down Below.
I think that may have been the most recent I saw. I don't think I've seen any of his more... No, I saw a film called Derailed a long time ago on the USA Network. Long time ago. I guess we've
both probably seen Machete.
Oh, we've definitely seen Machete. Are we going to talk about Machete?
We will, but I mean, for me, that is so against type for what I expect from Seagal. I mean, he's playing the villain.
Yeah, so we're not going to do the Onion movie either.
Well, no, we're going to do them.
Okay.
That for me, I think is the most recent film I've seen, but I don't really consider it a Seagal movie because he's not the lead. So yeah, so that's what we're talking about on the next episode is we're going to be fast forwarding to 2019, Seagal's most recent foray into film. Who knows when the next film is, unfortunately, due to the kind of current climate with filmmaking kind of being on a hard pause, we're going to be talking about his most recent film, and I'm excited. So
yeah, me too. It'll be fun.
So, Trevor, until then, until the next episode of On Seagal, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at CaseNeuromancer.
And as for me, you can find me on Twitter at casualty_Chris. That's where I talk about all the projects and podcasts that I'm on. You can follow the podcast at onseagal.com and on Twitter at onseagal. That's where we post all the podcasts and any other stuff on Twitter. So make sure to check us out there, and we'll catch you on the next episode.